Welcome back. This is the Sundaze Brunch podcast. I am Bobby Matz.
I am Ryan Bronson, and this is episode 3.
Episode 3. Welcome back to brunch, baby. Glad y'all can make it. Of course, the stragglers are gonna be coming in late. Just you can't be late to brunch. You got to make sure that you're here on time. Brunch for the boys. Bro. Saturdays are for the boys. We'll entertain the ladies because we love the ladies. We love the ladies, but it's for the boys. Anyway. Hey, cheers.
Cheers, as I just spelled out myself.
You got a hole in your lip there, Bob.
I guess so. Brunch ain't even started and I'm already spilling. Spilling while I'm sipping. I encourage you to try it.
Okay, Drake. A little drizzy Drake in here. Start off the podcast right. Start off the day right. All right. First on the docket. Ryan, what did you do this week? Did you get any new songs done? Did you start any new projects?
This week's
let's talk about how your week went.
This week's been a good one. We got the pre-save for the In My Head remix with Mark Battle set up.
Yes, sir.
So that's it's a big step in the right process towards getting this deluxe project out.
Hell yeah.
I hit a whole new creative space. Then apparently I can rap again. So
that's right.
Yeah, we got some heat coming that I'm in a zone right now, which is it's refreshing for me. I've been in a creative funk as of late, so I'm glad to get back on that.
You are definitely not lying on that. You've been ripping them back out.
Yeah,
and it's nice. It's been helping me fucking catch rhythm again, catch wind again.
For sure. And then we've been prepping for a show. I got a show in Iowa City next week with Second Chance. And then I just got the contracts today to lock in 2 opening dates with Dax.
Yes, sir.
So
that is in October, correct?
Yes, sir. In Iowa City and Minneapolis. So some good upcoming dates.
Minneapolis. Shout out Minneapolis.
Yeah, what about you? What'd your week look like?
My week was interesting, man. I had a good week. I was off from my day job all week, so that was nice. I got just one verse done. Sorry, I'm rolling a joint. I'm not really looking at the camera.
Never apologize for rolling a joint.
No, I got one verse done. It is a collab joint with a rather good artist that I know pretty well.
I heard he's pretty trash.
So, I'm trash.
No,
but yeah,
I heard the feature was trash.
No, yeah. So that's pretty much my week in a blink. Other than that, I've just been kind of more focusing on realigning myself. I guess I felt that my mental was a little hazy. So I took a step back, kind of stayed off social media.
We all need that sometimes.
And kind of just, I don't know, I guess stared and was more present in the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Lived in present time. And sometimes you don't need that.
Exactly. And it was nice. It was refreshing. It put me in a better headspace and definitely is lining me up good for the upcoming week. So, I can't complain too much.
For sure. Sometimes we all just need that. Sometimes sit back, relax, makes you realize that you're actually fucking real,
Well, not only that, it was crazy because one of my good friends and I were talking, and they straight up said, lately I've been feeling like life has been living me. And when they said that, I was like, ooh, I'm like, I actually like that because I feel like that's a very relatable feeling, because I know a lot of people that I'll talk to and they'll just be like, yeah, man, all I'm doing is work, home, work, home, work, home.
Yeah, dude.
Like, man, that shit gets redundant for a little bit. So, if you are feeling like, like your life is living you, that's all up to you to make those, changes and shit like that to 100%. Make sure that you actually start living life.
Facts. And also, if you don't use that, lately I've been feeling like Life is Living Me to start a verse, I'm gonna be pissed because that's a bar.
That's that's a bar and a half. So yeah, I mean that was really, that was my week at a glance. None too crazy. I was prepping for my upcoming drop. The drop this past Friday, August 20th. It is called Right Here. It's available on all platforms. Also, if you follow me on IG, Twitter, whatnot, that link is in my bio. Also, you can go check out my nice pictures because I'm a good looking motherfucker. But yeah,
Bro, I ain't even gonna lie. I put that shit on. That shit slap.
That shit slap, boy. But yeah, no, I'm excited about it. It's a good job. Got Jake Daniels behind it, producing it, and also engineering it. So shout out Jake Daniels. He's been crazy amount of help, mentor wise, learning wise, friend wise.
We're actually gonna pull him on the pod in a few episodes.
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be amazing. Also, while on the topic of Mr. Daniels, go check his music out, bro. Go check his music out.
Facts.
He's definitely got a unique sound, and it's very intoxicating and hypnotizing. He's got a good sound.
I'll drink to that.
I'll drink to that too.
All right, so we had a pretty productive week. It sounds like.
Yes.
A little quick story of something that happened in my week, which is going to bring us into our next topic.
Ooh, love it. Story time.
It's actually some bullshit that pissed me off, right?
Oh.
So I'm not going to name the name of the distribution company yet, unless they don't fix it. But it has turned out, so like, you know how like YouTube, right? They collect a large chunk of your royalties for you if you do the YouTube monetization properly.
Yes.
And I've had shout out these channels that have been uploading my music to all of them, but I've had several dozens of channels upload my songs and they've returned and gotten like hundreds of thousands of plays, which is amazing. So like, again, shout out these channels. However, my distributor has not been collecting YouTube royalties for me from my Two Sides to Every Story album or my Application to Love album. And so, and like as an independent artist, every single like play, every single royalty adds up and helps you eat and is like crucial to your income. So I got the distributor on the call and they were like, well, we're going to submit and get these start monetizing for you, but we can't give you that back royalties. Mind you, that back royalties is upwards of $9,000.
And and like this is never the fun part of being an artist because unfortunately you got to
be a business owner too.
Exactly. Along with the creative side and being a creative, you also have you yourself are a business. You are your own brand. You are the face of your brand. Like you're an artist. Like you're selling yourself.
100%.
But it's shitty because we don't want to deal with that. I know as an artist myself, like, yeah, it's nice when money comes, but it's not like, oh yeah, like this is why I'm doing it because like I want to get the money. It's like, nah, like if you are solely in this shit, like just for the money, you're not going down the right path, bro. Like 100%. It's not about the money, like. No,
but like in that same breath, like we don't do it for the money. We would do it for fun, even if it didn't make us money, but because we do it and it does pay our bills, like we gotta run this as a business. And
yeah, exactly. Like once you do that transition from like, oh, I still have to do my day job and I'm pursuing my music so I can in turn live off my music. Once you make that transition to actually living off your music, like you said, that's when you have to fucking put your business hat on whenever it comes down to it. Because like, bro, like these people are essentially keeping food off your table.
Right. And like, with that is like most artists, they obviously make the content for themselves, but they also in some breath are making it for other people to consume and potentially help them too. So exactly. You eating off of it and you making the income off of it is it making you be a better artist too, because you can spend more time on it to create for people. And then when shit like this happens, it kind of, you do have to switch roles a little bit. You have to go from, okay, I'm an artist to I have to be a bullheaded business owner, and agreements and shit like that kind of sometimes get a little hasty sometimes, looking into getting a legal team involved. And this is the next topic that I wanted to bring up to you and why this leads into this. That kind of leads me into where I wanted to talk next. And like there's the way royalties and music is distributed, and there's multiple different companies that you can use to get your music onto Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, YouTube monetization, Pandora, all the other streaming services that are available. I know I missed probably a few like Amazon, Google Play, and all that shit. And there's like, you can distribute through CD Baby, DistroKid, TuneCore, as well as other places and get your stuff up there. But with that comes the confusion as to how, one, artists make money, and two, what the consumer is paying for, you know?
Well, on top of those distribution companies too, don't you also have to make sure that you're registered with ASCAP too, right?
To collect, and yes, so that's part of the royalty distribution that I was going to discuss a little bit with the ASCAP or a BMI. Pretty much any pro organization, I think ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC are the main three. Those collect a different royalty than your streams collect. So yeah, you're like your streaming, your Spotify, your Apple Music, or your iTunes sales, or your Pandora streams, or your YouTube streams, they're going to get a completely different type of royalty. Like when you distribute content, you are, and it gets played or it gets performed live or wherever it gets played, you are owed two different royalties. You get a songwriter royalty and a publisher royalty. And registering for that pro is essential to getting both of those royalties. But the main point of this that I wanted to talk about, a lot of artists who are just starting out, who they think like, oh, I downloaded, or somebody downloaded this to their streaming service. That means they bought it and they expect to get the $1 or the 69 cents for the single or the $10 for the album, when it's like the streaming service is going to give you a royalty per play. And for those who don't know, there's a misconception where if you have millions of streams, they think you are balling.
100%.
And really, it takes about 1 million streams to make $4,000.
And that, people, is the facts.
Yes. So I think with the whole distribution thing, one, it's a business mishap on my end to have not known that it was a check. I should have known to check deeper into that when I noticed something was off and not let it go for as long as I did.
Yes.
So to anybody that's out there, recognize your shit and don't make the same mistake that I did. You know?
Yes, that part. And to touch back on it, that $4,000 too is untaxed. That's before tax.
Yes. And if you think about how much it costs to like make a song,
that's not a lot.
No,
at all. That's pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, it breaks down to it's like less than a quarter of a penny a play on like Spotify, YouTube, and shit, which they're all great for music discovery, but Apple Music has always paid better. Now they pay even better, and Tidal is the highest paying.
Apple Music, I think,
it's close to a penny.
It's close to a penny?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I can handle a penny a play.
Yeah.
Like that would. I understand like the share, but also if we want to take a deeper dive into this, let's actually discuss how the Spotify format breaks out for artists, right?
Okay.
So Spotify, picture you have a pot, okay? And in the pot goes all of the money that Spotify receives from advertisers and paid subscriptions, right?
Okay.
All that money goes in the pot. And then every single artist on Spotify. So say, for instance, for each month, Drake received 68% of all streams on the Spotify platform.
Yeah.
then Drake receives 68% of that pot. Like
So pretty much Top Dog gets whatever they actually brought in.
Exactly.
And then the remaining gets split amongst the rest.
Exactly. So like, so Spotify isn't actually set to like a quarter a penny a play. It's set to, okay, so this month you were 1.8% of all streams on Spotify. Then it's that 1.8 percentage of your streams that, or 1.8 divided by, or like however that math goes with whatever amount of money you made of that 1.8% breaks down to however much per play.
Which in simpler terms breaks down to, if you aren't bringing in at least a few million streams a month, you aren't making it.
Essentially.
You are making probably like maybe a few hundredths of a penny.
Right. And now is that to say,
play.
yes. And now is that to say that artists can't make a living if they're not getting millions of plays on Spotify? No, there's a ton of other ways that
you can make a living.
Yeah, there's a ton of other ways artists can make money. You can sell merch. You can mix and master for other artists. You can make beats. You can do features. Sometimes people pop off on YouTube and it doesn't translate to Spotify. Sometimes people pop off on Apple Music and it doesn't translate. So people thrive in other places. So yeah, personally, I do well on Spotify and I do well on YouTube and I do very, very, very well on Pandora.
Yes.
So for me, that is able to translate to people discovering me and then they inquire and like I'm able to make an income that way.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, you definitely do well across the platforms. But it is crazy to see the difference in the payout across the platforms.
Mm-hmm. And I go ahead.
And also the views on the payment.
Yes.
Whether they are sufficient enough there to and whatnot. And there's actually some very interesting viewpoints if you actually go and like look into it. Like look into what is it? Isn't it the CEO of Spotify was saying that artists need to create more music because that's why they're not getting paid enough.
Yeah, like I think that's he said something like along the lines of just like make more content, which I mean it's not a new idea. He's not
wrong.
Yeah, like it's not a new idea because like YouTube's operated in that same way since YouTube's creation. The more you post, the better you do.
Yeah, definitely. The algorithms are such an interesting way to see how social platforms are conducted.
For sure.
Like if you plug in the right piece into the algorithm, you take off.
Right. It's and also like and another way to like make an income and expose yourself to like getting more listeners, more fans, more supporters is live music. And that brings me to our next point, because I'm a little bit concerned that we may be approaching another lockdown. And if live venues close, that means no more shows. And then what the fuck are we going to do?
Yeah, I mean, back in lockdown, doing like live on Instagram shows and shit like that.
Yeah, dude.
It's like one way to connect with the fans, but at the same time, it's not the same.
No, not at all. So I got to ask, if we lock down again, fuck you going to do to pass the time?
If we lock down again, bro, I'm gonna sell all my shit. I'm gonna sell all my shit, and I'm just gonna go. I don't know where, but that's when I'm just gonna go. Nope, I'm not. I can't do it again, man. Like, yo, living in LA before the pandemic, what a time. What a time, dude. During the pandemic, it was still cool because like you could still go out and do kind of what you wanted as long as you were like smart about it and you weren't an asshole.
Yeah.
But like now, I don't know. It's not the same anymore.
It's probably like quiet as shit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quiet.
Is like, I mean, I assume like right now, like there's probably still like mask mandates, of course, but are places open right now?
Oh yeah, bro. LA is booming right now, but like you can feel the shift though. You can feel
Yeah.
the shift. You can definitely feel the shift, especially out in like a social environment.
Yeah. I remember when I was out there when shit was getting wild the first time and going into a store, I had to fucking stand in a line for like 2 hours. Is that what's happening again?
No toilet paper. No,
Bro,
God no.
bro, that was the worst because that fucking month where there was no toilet paper and there was 4 dudes in that house. Bro, if we had to poop, we were getting right in the shower.
It's true. It's true though. Like,
Wiping was not happening.
We had to do.
Wiping was not happening.
Yeah, we had to do what we had to do to stay clean, dude. It sucked.
The amount of
it's crazy though because like I remember when you and Boer like the day that like LA was like, yeah, yo, we're locking down, like we're done, everybody go home, like nobody goes to work. You were literally like, I'm gone, bro, like I am leaving. And I remember at first I was like, man, that's kind of like fucked up. But like at the same time, like now I look back on it, I'm like, yo, you kind of did the like smart thing.
I knew I wouldn't like I wanted to like lock down with my girlfriend because I knew we were gonna lock down. And 2, like I knew mentally, like no offense, but like in that fucking household with 4 fucking dudes, somebody wasn't surviving.
Nah.
Also, but can we address the panic shopping list that we had? Toilet paper was supposed to be on it, but we couldn't get it.
You want to explain it?
Well, we were panic shopping, didn't know what exactly was going to be classified as essential or non-essential. So we go to the store. Well, we all go to separate stores to like get shit, right? Mark and one of the other roommates' jobs was to get weed. A lot of fucking weed.
Yes, sir.
Booer, I don't remember what his job was yet.
Probably something, anything.
Yeah, probably. We told him to get something. And then I go to the fucking store and I just stock up on liquor and frozen pizza and chicken nuggets.
What a fucking time.
What a fucking time. We did get quite a few music videos done.
We did. And see, that was the craziest thing is even amidst the chaos, we were very productive.
Oh, we were very productive, but the whole time we were productive, everyone was at each other's throats.
At each other's throats, bro. Like you and I were kicking it, but like everyone else was just like,
bro, the only time we were at each other's throats is when you were trying to stand up for Kish and I was trying to stand up for Booer.
Bro, I remember it was like part of your daily schedule to give Booer a pep talk. You'd be a little buzzed.
Oh, bro. Y'all drove me to drink. I was drunk almost every night I was in LA.
Oh.
By my fucking self. Until you came home from work and you were like, oh, okay, I guess I'll have 2 drinks with you. And then you would get high. Then we were supposed to hit the studio 4 episodes of Family Guy later.
Bro, it was on.
You guys want to go to the gas station?
Oh, the munchies, bro. The fucking munchies.
So who are Bobby Matt's musical influences?
Would you say, what were my musical influences like up and coming, or like what are my musical influences now?
I would say if you had to put in a category of 5 artists who impact the Bobby Matt's persona and sound, who would they be?
Oof. Right off the top, obviously we talked about it in the first pod. Stud. Well, just Mike now.
Yeah.
Mike, he was a huge driving force in my influences, not only behind like viewpoints and helpful ways and creativity, but the demeanor.
Sure.
Like that was definitely like that was a huge driving point for me. Um, I feel like MGK is definitely
Okay.
you can see him in my influences.
Definitely early on.
Heavily early on. Yes, heavily early on. Um, Not so much nowadays. But yeah, I don't know. MGK, I like his stance on the way that he lives his life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the man just wants to live life to the fullest.
I appreciate that.
So I don't know that definitely, and like he's definitely a very like grab life by the balls type of dude. I feel
I agree.
so. It's definitely admirable.
For sure.
Mac, obviously, Mac Miller.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. What a legend. What
Yeah,
a legend. Definitely Mac. All of his shit from his earliest shit, Kool-Aid, frozen pizza, Nike's on my feet, all the way up,
that shit was the soundtrack of our youth, bro.
the soundtrack all the way up to, his newer stuff, like Good AM, like Weekend with Miguel.
Yeah, bro.
What a track. What a track, dude. I bumped Good AM.
I still throw that shit on regularly.
Oh, I still throw that shit on regularly, but when that shit came out, I probably bumped that for a good like 6-7 months. Like, and it wasn't even like I was like, oh, I'll play track 1, maybe play track 7. Like, nah, I was like, play and listen to the whole album because, dude, that album front to back is such a good put together project. It blends, it goes.
It's a masterpiece.
Oh my God, what a fucking artist, dude.
Yeah, dude, he's one of my goats. All right, you got 2 more.
After that, my grandma.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely my grandma because she was the first person to really instill in me in a way that I never really thought of it at the time, but saw it later on in life to really go for it.
Yeah.
If you enjoy it, why not go for it? And she was always very, very encouraging. Like I remember when I very first started making music and it was, you remember what our early day shit was.
Oh yeah.
And she would listen to it. My grandma would be listening to this just dirty, raunchy music. And she'd be like, I don't like your lyrics. I do not like your lyrics, but I like that you're pursuing what you like.
Shout out grandma.
And grandma was always a huge backer, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking grandma DeLille. Love her. She go, bro. And then shit, number 5.
Mamba number 5. Bro, remember us being shitted in the Uber and blasting that?
One, two, three, four, five. Bro, that is always a classic. Whenever you and I get together, I feel like Mambo number 5 always comes on.
Always.
And we only know that like first couple lines, and then we're like,
literally just then the Snapchat goes on. Oh, I'm fucking shitted.
Influences. Probably Blondie, dude. Blondie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's number 5. Yeah, my little brother.
The kid had bars.
Bars for days, man. That kid could flow. No, he was just like he's right up there with like Graham and shit, with like the believing and everything. But I feel like that little asshole pushed us.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Because the crazy part is that motherfucker would come to the studio. He came like a couple times, and he'd come in and you'd throw on a beat and he'd be like, "I bet," and ruin it.
Oh yeah,
ruin it, bro. Absolutely fuck that shit up. and we'd be staring at him like, how, Sway? How?
Dude, I wish that the first computer I had that we recorded on still fucking loaded, because there's verses from him freestyling in there, like when he smoked his throat box out.
Yeah. Raspy as fuck. Snapping, dude. But yeah, yeah, when he was still alive, he definitely put me onto a lot of music. I had heard of Mac. And then y'all went to the Macadelic tour. Right? Was it the Macadelic tour? What
I didn't go see Mac with him. I went to go see Chris Webby with him.
Was it Webby?
Yeah.
It was Webby. Okay, it was Webby.
And that was the first like rap show I'd ever gone to.
Huh. Then I don't know who we went to Mac with. But he was one of the very first people to really be like, yo, you really gotta listen to some of his stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, like I'll listen to it. Like, I don't know. He put me onto a lot of like good artists and shit like that. And like, I don't know, his charisma.
Yeah, dude.
His charisma and like his drive and everything. It was definitely it was influential, and especially, like now that he's not here with us and everything, it's just kind of like, yo, this motherfucker really believed that like we were gonna do it.
Oh yeah, now we got
so yeah, exactly. So now it's just like, damn, it's like yeah, I really gotta do this shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are probably like my top 5. Like right now, obviously, if you would have asked me a year ago, they'd be different.
Facts.
But yeah, no, that's my 5. What about you? What are your 5? What are your top 5 influences?
I would say number 1 would be Tupac. Yes. Just like the way he carried himself, the undoubted self-confidence, the work ethic, the drive, like the ability to be like a little bit reckless, but then like talk about it, like I don't know. There's a whole, like the storytelling, the poetics, like the way he was able to make even the darkest shit seem like beautiful. Like I always admired that and looked up to it. Plus like all the like conspiracies like surrounding him and shit. Like I really invested in when I was younger. So I would definitely say like Pac is a major influence, especially like as far as my hip hop side goes. Number 2 would be Eminem. Just because of like lyrics, cadence, flow, the ability, like the not give a fuck shit. Like when I was getting bullied in high school, like listening to Eminem, like be like, oh, well, he had people like, I guess like in the press bullying him, I guess, air quotates around that. So like his ability to flip words kind of like was like, wait, maybe I can do that. And then I just started fucking roasting people and they were like, oh shit. And I was like, bet. So definitely him. I also like the fact that he's still able to like keep going. Like also there's like age and career points with him that are motivating and like inspiring to me. Like the fact that his debut album didn't come out till he was 29 years old. It's crazy. And the fact that he's damn near 50 still doing what the fuck he loves is crazy,
Yeah.
3 wouldn't be like a specific person. It would be a band, and it's going way back. It will go to Motley Crue.
Yes.
I grew up listening to hair bands and shit. Like that was what my dad listened to. But something about Motley Crue, the recklessness, the ability for somebody who might not be able to have a great vocal tone, but the background music and just the whole persona and the image of them just to be iconic, dude.
See, when it comes to Motley Crue, I just feel like they were the like poster child of what people back then truly wanted to do. Like everybody just wanted to act.
Yeah.
Like imagine living your life like, okay, like this exact thing, whether it be good or bad, I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah.
That's how they lived.
Yeah.
Like whatever they wanted, they took. Whatever they wanted to do, they did.
Yep.
And like they dealt with everything like afterwards. And it was just like, I don't know. I feel like they are a very live free.
They are. They're live free. They're carefree, but also like, especially like as their careers and they age, like you definitely start to see like a soft side come out. And like I feel like I can relate to that. Like when I was a kid, I was fucking ruthless and reckless.
Yes, like we were like reckless and rebelling.
Yeah. Just for what? Like we didn't know. We were just like, fuck y'all. Dude, side note, do you remember when we were kids changing signs around and shit? Just like dumb shit, bro.
800-pound bitch, eat me.
Cock dinner, buy one, get one free.
Ruthless. Porta potty tipping? Why?
Bro,
Why?
remember when Timmy tipped that porta potty and there was somebody in it just covered in shit? Just literally just rebelling for no reason because we were just dumb. And bored. Like that area was so fucking boring.
Oh, please finish your last two and then I have a story.
Oh God, here we go. So Motley Crue was 3. Number 4, I am going to have to go with Mike. He's the one, like, obviously we grew up and saw Mac Miller take it from the internet age to like big, right? But
Yes.
Mike was the first one to like really, and like even at that time, like that Mac was like big. Chris Webby was like big.
Yeah.
So like Mike was the first one to show and like make it seem like I can do what I like to do and make a living off of it. And I don't necessarily have to be a household name.
Yeah.
You know? So like, and his mind states and his work ethic and his ability to switch up styles and like not confined to just one part of a genre, that was always inspiring to me and something that I've like looked up to for my whole career. Well, yeah, I would say my whole career. And then number 5, I think is going to have to be he's a newer one, but Russ.
Yes.
Yeah, like his just like his mind state, his content output, his, you know, I've never been the best at it, but I'll work to be the best at it, and his ability to just do all of the jobs at once. And I'll admit, when he first came out, I was a hater, and then I turned to a fan, dude. So top 5's got to be Russ.
Yo, from the first time I heard Russ, I'm like, dude, this dude's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
Like
And
the first time, I think the first song I heard from him was when he broke out with "What They Want."
I see. That's when I was a hater. I fucking hated that song.
Like he broke out with "What They Want," and I remember hearing that and just being like, "Damn, this is a fucking bop. I'm gonna check this dude out." And then not too long after he dropped the video for "What They Want," he dropped his first full length actual like debut album.
Yeah.
And bro, that shit took off, man. That his first debut album is riddled with hits.
Facts.
Like
the first one I liked from him was like "Me You" or "You Me" or whatever it is.
Me Too.
Oh no, it was like he was like, I don't know what the fuck.
Is it Me You?
Me You, You Me, something like that. Where he was just talking shit the whole time. Now I gotta look.
Yeah, I'm looking right now.
But
yeah, Me You. You're right, Me You.
Yeah, that was the first one because "What They Want" I didn't like, but then literally every fucking track after that, I'm like, oh, bop.
Dude, The Stakeout, Act Now, Cherry Hill, Me You, Ride Slow, Don't Lie, Do It Myself, I Want to Go Down With You, What They Want, Losing Control, Scared, Back to You, Pull the Trigger, MVP. Dude, that's all on his first date. Dude, what?
Yeah, dude.
That's literally like half of that album are probably all platinum records.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
it's wild. God. But now that we rounded out the top 5s, it's time for that Bobby Matt story time.
Story time.
We ready?
Story time. All right. So, do you remember the night Jake Shelley stayed at my house?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember the events of that night?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember how long it took to get home?
Uh-huh.
So, group of us. Should I name the boys?
No.
I'm gonna name the boys. No, I'm just kidding. So the group of us, including a couple very close to us, we all decide to go to this house.
Some of them have jobs that will not allow that.
Yeah, so we all went to this house party. Yeah, dude. And we get there, and I'm pretty sure that was the first time for a couple people, right?
Yeah.
Smoking.
Yeah.
And as we are leaving,
Including myself.
yeah. I forgot that was the first time we smoked. As we are leaving, because we're getting kicked out by the parents. You remember the Fat Joe freestyle?
Yes. Fucking Scooter
Bags and fucking Maddie. But yeah, as we're walking back, do you remember getting to the school and someone saying, I'm not going to say names because I can't.
Fuck, there's cops.
And not only did they say that, thinking the Gatorade machines were cops waiting for us, they also thought that the field that has been there since we were kids playing ball was now a river.
I forgot that.
And dude had all of us believe in it.
Yeah.
To the point that we were walking up to it and we were kind of like stepping on it, trying to
around it.
Oh my God. And then getting to the end of my street.
And that shit just suddenly getting longer.
Dude, that shit.
So the first time I fucking smoked that night, we go back to Mark's mom's house and I had a fucking panic attack. So I go down the roof. I'm like, yeah, guys, I'm going to go chill on the roof and I'll be back in a few minutes. Wait for them all to fall asleep. And I jump off the fucking roof and go home.
And like, dude, it was like 3 a.m. too.
That was a time.
Bro, do you remember me having to slap said person in order for them to make it on the roof?
Yes.
I really hope he watches this.
That would be funny as shit. All right, so change the subject a little bit. I saw a thread on Twitter the other day, and people were just going in about like what their pet peeves are. So I got me thinking. I was like, this would be a good podcast topic. Like I was just thinking. I was like, a lot of people have very different pet peeves, and a lot of people are bothered by shit that doesn't bother anyone at all. So what are some of the pet peeves of Bobby Matz?
Pet peeves of Bobby Matz. Obviously, I just went over like chewing with your mouth open, like smacking in the lips and shit like that.
Bro, that shit.
Biting fingernails.
Yes.
Biting fingernails, dude. I don't know why that shit just, it's like, stop.
That shit just irks me.
And it's like, they're just like gnawing on the fingernail and then.
Bro, like.
And I'm like, do you know where you're spitting that?
Right.
Like, we're inside. You fucking you mongrel.
Like what? You couldn't find sunflower seeds?
Like fucking Christ. Neanderthal you. Someone telling me to do something when I already plan on doing it.
I feel that.
I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's like, fuck you for reminding me. Now I really have to do it. Or if it's just kind of like, I already planned on doing that and now I don't want to do it because you're asking and requiring me to do it.
Yes. It's just like,
It's like I want to do that because I want to do it.
bro, or like somebody asking you a question that they already know the answer to. Like you're getting ready to go, like you're literally getting up and getting around to go do something. Oh, you going to do that? No, I'm just fucking doing this for the fuck of it. Like, oh, I'm putting my coat on.
Literally,
I'm putting my coat on. Oh, you going outside? No, I'm fucking going to the fucking sauna.
bro, you could literally be walking to your door with all your work clothes on, with labels and everything, and someone's still gonna look at you and be like, "You going to work?" Nah, dude, I'm going to tranquilize some babies. What the fuck do you think?
Bro, every time.
Oh my god, this shit.
Or if you're at your day job and you're like clocking out, getting ready to leave. Oh, you going home? No, I thought I'd do another shift.
Or like, dude, because like I've worked in the service industry. Please, if you come in to like dine in anywhere or like bars or anything like that, please do not look at your server or bartender and be like, "Ha, working hard or hardly working." We've already heard it
4 times in one day.
100 fucking times that day. Please do not be that asshole that says it, because I will forever remember your face and I will hate you every time you walk in.
Don't be that. Or bro, what about this one? When you are like asking somebody for something or like trying to talk to somebody about something and they're so far either not paying attention or tuned into anything, and you're just like talking to yourself pretty much. Saying it, you say it again.
And you can see it too.
You say it again. Bro!
And they're like, huh? Me as fuck.
I was just going to say, you're notorious for that.
Me as fuck. Hey, sorry, man. I wasn't listening to anything you were just saying.
Bro,
I'm notorious for that line. Notorious for that line.
But also the fucked up thing about...
And I'll be sitting there the whole time too while you're talking. I'll be like, uh-huh. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. Sorry, dude. I was not listening at all.
Dude, the fucked up thing about me having that pet peeve is I can literally look at you straight in the face for 30 minutes and not listen to a word you just said.
Yep. Yep.
Like I'm a pro at like, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. That's crazy, bro.
Hey, new song coming up. New song coming up. I just start by the way, yeah, I just started writing that the other day.
Hey.
Yeah, last night.
Hey, that's a heater. But
Something in my mimosa. Oh my god.
Mi mimosa.
Mi amor.
Bro, but here's the one of the worst pet peeves that I have, right? Somebody telling you they're gonna do something and then not doing it.
I can't say that's my pet peeve because I am bad at that. I am very bad at that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I didn't mean for the personal attack, but now that you mentioned
No. I'm not taking anything personally. I'm just like, ooh.
now that you mention it.
Nah, I'm bad with that shit. But yeah, no, that it is bad. Like every time I catch myself doing it, I'm like, ugh.
Like I just don't like. I can't operate that way, you know. Like because I feel like because I'm also very open about like if I don't want to do something, I'm gonna straight tell you I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I know a lot of people overextend themselves, and then they get to a position where they're supposed to do what they told somebody they were going to do, and they like completely just like don't do it. And like I get it, people are tired, people are busy, but also you said you were going to fucking do it, bro. If you didn't want to do it, if you didn't want to do it, just say that. No,
yeah, exactly. Like for me myself, I always find myself, I'm like, man, I said I was going to do that, but I'm fucking tired and shit. And it's like, bro, I just need to be like, yo, dude, I'm gonna keep it a bug with you. I'm tired. I'm probably not gonna do that.
For real. And like 99% of people would understand that.
99% of people would be like, fuck, all right, well, whenever you get a moment, like if you can, you know, I don't know. That's definitely one thing, like going back into an older topic with like growth and shit is like, once you actually start being self-accountable, nothing can really bother you anymore.
100%.
Because like if you're still making excuses and everything and you're like, oh, it's not me, like, no, that's not my problem, it's their problem. It's like, no, it's like sometimes like you are at fault. Yeah. You know? And like when you start coming into realizing and admitting shit like that, I feel like that's when you really start growing into the person you're going to be.
100%. And like, I think one, realizing that is a growth in itself, and two, acting and changing it is the ultimate growth. And I do think that there's a level of growth in just learning how to say no.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of people I know personally. They just don't know when to say no.
Yeah. And they'll say yes, and then they just either don't show up or like don't do it, or they'll do it and they're not happy while they're there, or they're like, they'll do it and then they'll go talk shit about having to go do it. And it's just like, bro, most people understand the word no.
Like, dude, I remember one of the people I had to cut off recently. Whenever I would talk to them, that's all they would do. They would complain about how busy their schedule was.
Right. As if everybody.
And I remember every single time I'd be like, yo, say no.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go do some of the stuff. Stay home.
100%.
And they're like, well, I can't do that. I'm like, hey, side note, crazy. This is crazy. You can't. Yeah. It's just like, yo, if you say no, people aren't going to get butthurt about it. They're going to understand. If you're an asshole about it, yeah, then they're going to get butthurt about it. But if you're just like, hey, yo, listen, like, I got a lot going on right now. I can't make it. Right. Or, yo, like, I'm really fucking tired and swamped. I just don't want to do it. People aren't going to be like, fuck you, man. Like, no, they're going to be like, I feel you, bro. I'll catch you next time.
Exactly.
Bad.
100%.
That's all it is.
Or like, if you tell people like, I'm just not in the mental capacity to do that right now, most people will be like, okay, you good. You need anything?
Yo, when I started admitting that to people, because like there'd be times where I'd start getting like anxious before going to like social gatherings and shit, just because I'm like, man, like I'm not really like mentally like available to go and do this. And when I started admitting it to people, like, yo, hey, listen, like I'm not mentally like cool to like do this. Like I'm gonna catch you next time. Everyone's cool with it. Yeah, you know, obviously, like don't say it 10 minutes before.
Right, but like,
you know,
yeah, and like one of the biggest things that I've noticed, like with my mental health, like as I've grown and as I've aged, is the more open and transparent I am about it, typically speaking, the more understanding people are. Like I remember times where I used to be like embarrassed of it or nervous of what people would think. Now it's just like, you will accept it what it is and whatever my mental health entails. And if you don't and you can't understand it and have that level of understanding with it, then you're really not somebody I want in my fucking life anyways.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, dude, I'll say it 1,000 times, you know, like you become the company you keep.
Facts.
Like whoever and whatever you surround yourself with, whether you like to believe it or not, it is proven you will become that.
100%. And it's
you know, you surround yourself with low lives and people that really have no direction in life and don't want to do anything, just kind of want to be like, yo, let's just chill.
Yeah, and that brings me to like that, because I think a lot of the things that go into those decisions to share that mental mind state with people, or to share like, hey, like today I just don't have it. Like a lot of that comes down to like overthinking.
100%. What is this person going to think of me?
Yeah.
What if they tell somebody? Right. What is everyone else going to think of me? Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, you really have to check yourself and remind yourself, who the fuck cares? Uh-huh. That is how you feel. You are the only you.
Right.
Unless you're out here like genetically cloning yourself. And if so, like kudos to you.
I mean, if you can clone yourself, can you like tell me how so I can find somebody else to do some of the shit I don't want to do?
That's what I'm saying. You know, it's just, I don't know.
Like, I think like overthinking kills inspiration. And I think overthinking like poisons yourself too. Like, how do I word this without sounding like a complete fucking asshole?
You literally like, bro, none of it matters.
Yeah. Like you,
as long like you're the only you and you know what you are feeling. And if it's fucked up, it's fucked up. And no one really else can tell you otherwise.
Right. And if you have people around you who are having something negative to say about your mind state, or having something negative to say about anything. And that's not to say like don't allow constructive criticism, because we all need that. We all need to be checked.
Take everything with a grain of salt, but bro, like,
But if
you can tell a snake.
Yeah,
you can tell
like,
you can tell somebody, like, especially like, yo, they could have been one of your day one homies, been with you from the jump, and maybe, you know, like whatever you got going on starts popping off and everything, and then they start getting a little like jaded, and they're like, hey, you finally got what you wanted. And it's just like, why are you saying it like that?
Yeah, facts.
You know, like,
and I know
it's shit like that, you know?
Yeah, and I know it's like, one, as somebody who has an anxious mind, and two, like as a creator, like I know how easy it is to overthink shit. And I know, like, honestly, like doing music and finding myself through music has allowed me to find this space of knowing exactly who the fuck I am. And I think, and I've found who I am not through like the career of music. I found knowing who I am by getting rejected a fucking million times and learning that I don't give a fuck who thinks what. I have the highest fucking opinion of myself. And if that's egotistical, if that's arrogant, you know, I really don't give a fuck, because at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to go to sleep with my own thoughts. And if I'm sitting here overthinking me telling you, bro, I don't have the mental capacity to come to this event today. Bro, I don't have the mental capacity to have this conversation with you today. Dude, I don't have the mental capacity to get out of bed today. If I have to go to bed overthinking that, I'm going to spend the rest of the fucking week overthinking it. So I just cut my ties with it. And I'm like, it is what it is. You got a problem with it. That's on you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, in Mike's podcast, he was saying something about what Blue said. And I thought it was actually pretty crazy. You could be laying in bed next to your wife for 30 years and you could still be alone because you're up here.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's crazy, because it's the truth. Like, if you don't have your mental on check, you fucked. Yeah,
you got to have your mind right all the time. I mean, not everybody, nobody's mind is right all the time, but you got to.
Yeah, nah. Like, don't get us twisted. Like, nobody's perfect 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. Everybody has their days, whether you want to believe it or admit it. Everybody has their days.
Yeah, what I mean by you got to have your mind right all the time is that you got to, even if your mind isn't right, you got to know what you got to do to get your mind right.
Exactly. Like, when you have those,
look different every day.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when you have those days, those inevitable days, you have to be able to admit to yourself, it's like, today's just not my day. Yeah. But I'm gonna fucking get through it, and I'm not gonna be defeated.
Right. So let's dive into that a little bit, because I think this is an important thing for viewers and just general population to, like, because mental health isn't talked about at all. I mean, it's talked about more now than it ever has been. Yes. But it's not talked about enough, you know? So, like, on those days where you're overthinking everything, you are shit talk, because I know I go through these days where I'm just shit talking myself, my personal image, my body image. And then there's days where I'm like, dude, you're the fucking greatest, best looking person on the planet, you know?
Yep.
On those days where you're like down in the dumps, what do you do to get your mind right?
So this is actually fun. So the way that I started looking at shit, especially on those days, is you are not at fault for the thoughts that you have.
Yes.
But you are at fault with what you do with those thoughts that you have.
I like that.
So, like, on those days where, like, I'll wake up and I'll be laying in bed and I'm like, man, I really don't want to get the fuck out of bed. Like, man, it's comfortable. I'm tired. You know, I can't really think of anything to do. I'll just, like, think to myself, I'm like, yeah, I could do that. Mm-hmm. But if I do that, I know I'm going to wake up late. And when I wake up late, my day's off. And when my day's off, I feel like shit. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like, I'll have that initial thought and I'll be like, or I could just get out of bed. It's going to be shitty for probably the first, like, 5-10 minutes. Get in the shower. And then I'll be fine. Go have some coffee. And I do that and I'm fine. Yeah. Or, like, the days that I'll fucking, like, wake up and I'll have really bad body dysmorphia and I'll, like, look at myself and I'm like, you're an ugly piece of shit, dude. Like, you're going to be alone forever.
you know, like I have those thoughts and I'm like, no, I'm not ugly. No, I'm not this. No, I'm not that. Like, I am what I am, and I love what I am.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like I've been really focusing on. It's like, yo, like the first thought that comes to your head is really subconsciously what was instilled in you when you were like younger.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so it's just like, and they're like cycles and shit, especially when it comes to like depression, anxiety, OCD, shit like that.
Oh, 100%.
Like there's cycles, and like you can feel these cycles coming on, and like as long as you can control them and like figure out your methods to control them, you're gonna win.
100%.
But it's just like you have to. It's really like trial and error when it comes to that shit, because like I just started, you know, implementing like this viewpoint and everything. And like, it's really helped because it's just like, I would always beat myself down at those first thoughts. I'd be like, man, like, why am I thinking about myself this way? Why am I talking to myself this way? And it's like, this isn't really me coming at myself. This is the first initial response my brain sends to me.
Yeah, dude. I'm all about giving people their flowers, right? And I'll give you kudos for that. Like the past month is the most motivated, inspired, and optimistic I think I've ever seen you. And round of applause for,
you know, and it's crazy because I got this fucking tattoo right here. And
perspective.
you know, and that's really all it is just like, yo, you shift your perspective, and you shift how you look at things.
100%.
It's crazy. It's just like, and also on those days with like overthinking and like bad days like that, I feel like a lot of people feel like they're buried.
Yes.
You know?
I agree.
And it's just like, yo, like you're not buried. Everybody's got a million things going on in their life. It's not just you.
Yep.
If you're stuck in traffic, like it's not like, man, this would only happen to me. Nah, every single person that you see, every car that you see stop, it's happening to them too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you can't take everything so personal either.
Facts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, it's not that deep.
It's not. It is not, bro.
And everybody's days on those days looks different. Like me, like for you, like it sounds like you need like the structure to like do it like that. For me, like on those days, I typically will force myself to get out of bed, and there's a saying I've heard where if the only thing you accomplish today on a depressive day is brushing your teeth, then that's what you did. So, but for me, like typically what I'll do is I'll force myself to get up, go eat something, do something small. And then literally sometimes I will lay back in bed, take a nap and be like, okay, I'm going to restart today.
Yep.
Like I will literally restart the day. Like I don't think that I conform to this day has to be scheduled. And I think honestly, like a heavy schedule for me is not productive for me because my mind is too scattered all the time. So yeah. I think the ability to, today I feel like creating, today I feel like doing this, today I feel like doing that. The ability to do what the fuck I want to do, when the fuck I want to do it is crucial to me being the most productive that I can be. And I think like back in the days, like when I was in high school, back in the days when I had to have a normal by the book job, like those are the days that I struggled most mentally. Like everybody still has their days, but these days my anxiety is at a low until it's at a high, you know. But yeah. It's all comes down to I have learned what works best for me, and what works best for me is flexibility and the ability to be essentially free. And when I do things, I can make my money on my own terms. I can create on my own terms. I can go out on my own terms. You know, like I can, if I need a day where I just literally am just like, I need to be out and about doing shit, I will drop whatever the fuck I'm doing. I'll go to the store, I'll run some errands, or like I'll hit up a friend, or, you know, like, you know, I need that ability to have freedom so I can not focus. If there's a day I don't want to do something, I have to be able to say, you know what, today's not the day for that.
Yeah.
and do something else, because doing something else to me is still productive.
Yeah, and then like not only that, I feel like a lot of people, you know, that think that they aren't doing enough and shit like that, like they'll actually do a lot in a day.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh, I struggle with that all the time.
And like a lot of people, I feel like overlook this, but you really have to understand that big changes aren't big changes.
Yes.
Big changes are a ton of small, tiny changes that no one is going to see, saw, or will ever see, that put together lead to what you are, which people look and they're like, oh, that, look at the change. And it's like, no, I didn't change. Yeah. I fine-tuned everything.
Yeah. Like, I think that one of the things that I've started doing in the recent few years that's helped me like be another release besides creating is cooking. And I equate like change and growth and building, like whether that's a career, whether it's yourself, whether it's whatever it is, I equate it to cooking, right? You put a little bit of seasoning in, blah. You put a little bit more seasoning in, blah. And you keep adding different ingredients, you keep adding different things, and you keep changing, you keep altering until boom, you get the recipe.
Yeah. I feel like when we were growing, what's up?
And I think like if you treat like things like it's a recipe, every little thing that you do is a recipe to what that product or what that result is that you're trying to obtain.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like when, you know, like we were going through the school systems, like growing up and everything, I feel like the shit you get taught societally and like textbooks and shit like that, I feel like it's very salt and pepper.
Oh, 100%.
You know, like it's very, very bland. And it's just crazy because like I think back to like grade school, middle school, high school, college, and the information that I actually retained from there. Dude,
that reminds me, I was in St. Louis 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
And we were my girlfriend and I were at a rooftop bar, and I get drunk and I start having conversations with people. And I struck up a conversation with these two elderly women. And I did the tip, like I asked them like random questions, random conversation questions. And I asked them two like questions that kind of like stuck with me in my mind state. And the first question I asked them was, like, what is the key to happiness as you age? And both of them were like, one, you're not going to change anything overnight except for your mind. And two, like just do what you want to do and surround yourself with people that you want to be around. And then the other thing that they said was, well, I didn't ask them this. The other thing that like in their conversation, like questions that they were asking me and the amount of things that they were astounded by that I didn't learn in high school.
Really?
Yeah. Like government shit, certain like life shit. Like the fact that we aren't taught credit in high school.
Bro, I remember when I turned 18 and my mom was like, you need to get your credit up now. And I was like, what's that?
Yeah, dude.
Like I remember I took one class in high school. It was called financial algebra. In my senior year, I had already graduated. My junior year had all my credits, everything. I could have got my diploma at the beginning of senior year. Said, right?
Yeah.
So you remember my senior year? I missed half of it.
Yeah.
But Ms. Zeller in this financial algebra class, bro, dude, she taught me shit that actually I still retain today. How to balance a checkbook. Fucking, she talked about like buying your first house. What was the next one? Budgeting. Pretty much like everyday like life money shit.
Yeah.
Like we learned in that class, and obviously like there's a lot that I didn't learn because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But like the shit that I did learn there, I was just like, oh, cool. Like back then I was just like, oh, you know, like this is cool, whatever. And like now thinking back on it, I'm like, man, that was really the only like beneficial class that I took.
Yeah. Dude,
that I can really think of. Like besides that, it was like what? Science, okay. History, okay. English, like.
but even then, like history, like we were taught a small portion of actual history. They gave us the watered down version, dude. They
didn't give us the watered down version. They just gave us water.
They gave us the white version.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in school, we learned a very minuscule amount of what Martin Luther King actually did. And then if it wasn't Martin Luther King or Harriet Tubman, we didn't learn anything about any other black figures.
From what I remember being taught was Harriet Tubman. Wasn't she the one that ran the Underground Railroad?
Yeah. If it wasn't her,
see, that's what I'm saying. Like I had to just question myself about that.
Yeah. If it wasn't her,
MLK,
we didn't learn shit.
Yeah, and then Martin Luther King had a march. He did peaceful protesting, and he was assassinated.
Yeah, but then they taught us this whole fucking section of George Washington, but not once in that section did they teach us he owned slaves.
Nope. Why didn't they say anything about Malcolm X?
Right, because his side was.
Why didn't we learn about Vietnam?
Right. Like we didn't learn anything about Malcolm X, but Malcolm X was almost essential to Martin Luther King's whole thing.
And then on top of that, why did we learn about the Cold War?
Right.
Why did we briefly cover the Bay of Pigs, but not really go into what it was really about?
Yeah. Why did we learn that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, but that it wasn't a fucking election stunt?
Yep.
Like there's so much shit that they didn't teach us and they whitewashed it.
Whitewash the fuck of it. Why didn't we get taught that most of the early on presidents owned slaves and had like secondary families with those slaves?
Yeah. And they don't talk about that.
No.
Like, bro, that was watered down. Again, didn't learn credit. We learned how to balance a checkbook, but I've never wrote a check in my life. I run everything on a fucking card. You know, I was like I graduated in 2011. So between 2011 and now, like that's 10 years. So obviously like finances have changed a lot, but even then, like, again, scatterbrain, but like, and I see people now who are literally fucking freaking out that they don't teach cursive in school anymore.
Yo, it's funny because
why the fuck is cursive even necessary?
Dude, it's funny because listen, it's funny you bring that up. I only write in cursive.
Really?
I only write in cursive because when we were learning cursive, it was drilled into me. This is the way you will have to write from now on. Every single person from now on is going to expect you to write cursive. When you get to middle school, you're going to have to write cursive. High school, cursive. So I just wrote cursive. And then as soon as we get there, and they're like, yeah, you don't have to write cursive. We don't give a fuck how you write. I was just like, oh.
Literally. Like,
and then I hadn't written in print so long. Dude, my print looks like chicken scratch.
Like literally, I really don't understand it. Like there's so many people who are like, why don't they teach cursive anymore? Bro, typically speaking, most essays, most writing is typed on a computer, for one. For two, why does it have to be cursive when if it's print, you can still fucking read it? Three, there's so much other shit that should be taught. I don't need to learn a secondary way to write. Why do I need to learn cursive when I should probably be learning fucking Spanish and French?
Like, that's one thing. I feel like languages should be more sought out in schools. Like, I don't think you should be like, oh, you have the choice to take one language for the next 2 years. And then after that, you can choose. It's like, no, I feel like you should take 4 years of at least 2 languages.
Yeah.
on top of your own native language.
100%. Like, I don't regret a lot of things, but that is one thing I regret, was not paying attention enough in Spanish class.
Like I remember I paid attention in Spanish class. I took 3 years of Spanish. I remember for the state exams, I had to literally be conversational in Spanish for at least, it was like 10 to 15 minutes, and I did it.
Yeah.
And like now I'm out here in LA, and like, do I understand Spanish? Yeah, I can understand what you're saying. Can I speak it back to you? A little.
Yeah. Like, I wish that I paid more attention in Spanish, but again, it was only required to be taken for 2 years. I wish that I was able to have more Spanish and less fucking algebra. I have had to use Spanish since I left high school. I have never had to use fucking a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Dude, do you want to know one of my biggest things that like I hate about high school that is a prerequisite in New York State, mind you? Geometry.
For what? Unless your plan is to go into like fucking contracting or something. Why?
Like, I don't know. I feel like even in public schools, because like there's a lot of private schools that do this, is they're very career oriented courses, right?
100%.
Like, you go to a high school, but like in that high school, you go to the arts school, you go to the trade school in that school. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's what school should be, not like, oh, you're going to get a general education, because that's what we did get. We got a general education.
100%. And
that's like, what we got. And like, even like, it wasn't as prominent as it is now. Cause like, I know there's a lot more parents, because they're actually like, you know, they're our generation now. And they're like, no, like, I don't want to send my kid, you know, to public school that doesn't have these options.
Right.
Because I would much rather send my kid to a school and have them have the choice to be like, oh, you know, like, I want to go to school for engineering. Okay, we're going to put you on this course path.
Right.
I want to go to school to be a police officer. We're going to put you on this course path. You know, like going into a school being like, hey, you know, first period you have English, second period you have P. That shit don't work no more, bro.
No, like, I'll probably go on a little bit of a tirade here, but like, there's so many things in the modern world that need to be changed. And one of them, in my opinion, is education.
Yes.
Our whole education system is kind of flawed.
Do you know how our education system was actually shaped?
Yeah, like, if you look at the way, like, even like desks in the classroom are set up, they're set up like in rows, and that was to prepare people for conveyor belts in factories. You know,
literally the school system and the way and layout that it is laid out was created to pretty much, what's the word that I'm looking for? Train people.
Yeah, to train workers
into being okay, sitting somewhere in a room doing something for 6 to 8 hours a day.
Right. Like, they trained you to work in a factory.
Yeah, literally.
And to me, like, the way the education system was set up and is set up, it doesn't seem like they're creating free thinkers. They're creating minions. Mm-hmm. And I think the education system needs to be shifted to, instead of fucking rows, maybe like group learning, instead of just straight rows. Like I said, that was set up for a factory. And yeah, are people who work in factories fucking essential? 100%, because we need products, but that's not for everybody. And why are you teaching somebody who is very not proficient in math these upper education levels of math when you know they're never going to use them? Why? Like, I think it was Einstein that said, like, you can't judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, and that's still fucking true.
Dude, pull this photo up. This one right here. Obviously, you're gonna pull the photo up, dude. Yeah. Remember that? I feel like that's how, you know, the general education system still is. And it's like, bro, if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it's going to think it's a failure its entire life.
100%.
You know, and I just, you know, dude, shout out Gary V, bro. Shout out Gary V.
Dude, I love him.
I feel like the school, you know, like he stands by it. He feels like the school system failed him, because like that it really does, you know, like all school really is. It doesn't test you on your knowledge. It tests you on your ability to retain and regurgitate information.
100%. I was just going to say that next was
Like that's all it is. If you can take in information and then tell it back, good job.
right. Oh,
You don't even have to know what it means.
exactly. It's like the school system is set up for people to remember things. So it's not even like, I know people who are very fucking book smart who are dumb as fuck in real life. Like they have no common sense to actually engage in a real conversation, but they got straight A's in school for what? They had a fucking either photographic memory, or they could remember everything that you said and recite it back to them. But what did you actually learn besides memorization? You can't pull those facts out in a conversation to use them for what they need to be used for.
You want to know something great? This is an ideal fucking example. So 11th grade history midterm, right?
I know where you're going with this.
Culver sends us home with the legit fucking midterm. This is your study guide. That's what teachers would always say. This is your study guide. And I remember literally not studying at it at all. The night before, for 2 hours, me and my grandma went through the entire thing. I think it was like 100 questions for like 2 hours. The next day, I went in and got 100 on it just because I could remember it.
Yeah, dude.
Do I remember any of it right now? Fuck no. I don't even remember what it was about. But right then and there, I knew exactly what it was, and I got 100.
And that's what I'm saying, dude. It's like
because I regurgitated information.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Is like they are setting us up to be minions to work for someone else. They don't teach you how to be an entrepreneur.
Like, bro, do you want to know one thing that I wish I could apologize about?
What?
Playing fun at people that went to BOCES.
Yeah, I was a BOCES kid.
I remember playing fun at people that went to BOCES because it's like, oh, you're going to do that, like, whatever. Yeah. And now, like, looking back on it, I'm like, bro, like, they made the right choice.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I was a BOCES kid. I only went for a year, but I did learn, like, a lot of shit about, like, the workforce. And also, like, I went for, like, auto body. So, like, I learned skills that I can still use. But also I learned that I don't want to fucking work for someone.
Yeah.
Like I don't and I think that's literally part of why the world is the way it is today, because people are so set in their ways. People are so set in their mind states. And that's because the education system planned it for them to be that way. The education system has no room for a free thinker. The education system has no room for a creative. And you know what? I was one of those kids that I was in math class, and I straight would tell the teacher, like, when am I going to actually ever use this? And they couldn't give me an example. And then they would kick me out. Or like in history classes or like science classes, I would ask the question like, well, what if it was this way instead of the way you're telling me? And I would get kicked out of class, dude, because they didn't have an answer to alter what the book said. And still to this day, some of the shit that they said in that book doesn't fucking make sense because it's still not fucking real. And looking back, I'm like, that information was wrong.
Hey, so side question. If I were to ask you to define what the word controversial meant, what would you say that it is defined as?
If I was the word controversial?
Controversial. If something is controversial, what would you define it as?
I would say controversial is a piece of content or a piece, not a piece of content. Controversial, I would say, to the general public is perceived as a piece of information that's not commonly received by everyone else.
What'd you say?
If you were to ask me what the word controversial meant, I would say it's by the general population, it would probably be received as a piece of information that's not commonly accepted by everyone.
Yeah. So give rise to public, right?
Yes.
controversial. Do you want to know the original definition of what it was?
Mm-mm.
Questioning the like how factual something is.
Yeah.
Now it is literally saying if something is controversial, it's pretty much like spreading misinformation and causing public uprising and unrest.
Yeah. And what's that say about look at the way they taught us to receive information. Look at the way they taught us. This is this, and that's just how it is, with no explanation of why.
Like, bro, you want to know something that I think back on a lot? You remember taking typing classes?
Yeah.
Literally having to stare at a computer screen for 40 minutes, not look down at the keyboard, and just type.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they wanted people who could type for jobs.
Dude, we were like 10.
Yeah. They were literally.
We were like 10 and they were doing that to us.
Yeah. They were training us to be employees.
As kids.
Yeah. They want us. They don't teach. They tell you to go to school because you got to learn. Yeah. You're learning shit, but I didn't learn fucking shit that I didn't need after fucking 6th grade.
Yo,
I learned how to read and write. That was all I fucking needed in high school. They didn't teach me anything about life. They didn't teach me common sense. They didn't even teach me about fucking proper diet, because even that health triangle they showed us is false.
Yep. Like, dude, the hot controversial topic right now is fucking, what's his name? LaMelo Ball.
Oh yeah. Because he like dropped out of school to play basketball.
Yeah. And he's like, we don't need school. Like,
no, we don't.
What the fuck are they teaching us? Like, what is school? And like, dude, there's a lot of people that are like twisted on it. And it's like, bro, he's not wrong. Like, does school help some people? Yes,
school
it does.
But
school also shows who likes to be told what to do
and who doesn't,
and who likes to be able to choose for themselves.
Yes.
Because if you like to be told what to do, school's gonna be great for you. You're gonna be a great student.
Well, to me, like, if you look at the core of like anybody, like young, anybody ever, before they went to school, I don't think anybody actually likes to be told what to do.
No, nobody does.
They strike you with fear that if you don't do what you're going to do, what you're told to do, you're going to be punished for it. And they teach you that they tell you that if you don't do what they tell you you're going to do, you're going to be punished. And they tell you that if you question them, you're also going to be punished and that you're wrong. But what the fuck do you have to back up that says you're right? Like the same thing with like, I think Gary Vee just said this too, was like with cursing, you know?
Yo, I love that
clip where he's like, I'm just not that concerned if my kid says fuck. I don't fucking care.
And I remember that clip actually just came across my feed the other day. And the lady's like, why do you curse so much? And he's like, that's who I genuinely am. Like,
that's how I think. That's what the fuck comes in my head.
He says, from my brain to my heart to my mouth, that's how I feel. Mm-hmm. And I think that I give a fuck about my employees feels more than I care about my employees.
Facts.
And I remember the lady asking like, well, you do know that, you know, there's a certain demographic that you're never going to reach. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, I'm being me. I'm not going to be something else to appease to someone else.
Right.
And then, you know, like she sees that he's really like, yo, this is me. Like, I don't give a fuck what you think. And then she's like, oh, well, what about your kids? And then he goes on like, I really don't think going into a parent-teacher conference and Mrs. Johnson saying, your kid curses, I don't give a fuck. That's not a problem to me.
Right. No, literally. Why is that an issue?
It's not. Like, is it something that should be addressed? Like, hey, listen, you know, like little Billy, like, please don't say motherfucker at school. Also,
this fucking thing, right? I'm about to go on a fucking tirade. The amount of kids and the amount of people that they now consider unemployable because they didn't get a degree. When you leave that fucking high school, when the fuck do those grades ever matter?
Like, dude, you want to know something even crazier? To like go deeper and dive deeper into that show right there. So, Junkman is trying to get a new job, right?
Right.
And I asked him the other day when he was applying jobs, I'm like, hey, send me over your resume.
Right.
I'll look it over and I'll help you with it. He's like, okay. So I'm helping him with his resume. We're switching things up, putting things in. And I scroll down to the bottom to where you can take all those modules and like shit on Indeed.
Yeah.
Dude, tell me why I get down there and like stuff that like I never would have believed. This motherfucker's got like highly proficient, expert, highly proficient. And I'm like, what? And he's got all these skills, but just because he doesn't have a college degree and he has a track record, he will never get that job.
100%. Like, do you know
what? Like,
yeah, do you know what the application to hiring process is like?
Coming from my business professor, this is what he said. He worked for IBM.
Yes.
We'll use them as a reference. At IBM, people that apply to IBM, stack of papers, be fucking ton of them, like 6 foot tall, right? They will never get looked at.
Oh, 100%. It's different than that now, but yes, continue.
Then next to those stacks, is a stack of people that have a 4-year degree. They will never get looked at.
Yep.
Then next to them, there's a smaller stack of people who have master's degree. If you're on the top, you will get looked at.
Yeah. Do you want to know what it is now?
I don't want to know.
So now, typically speaking, you don't hand in your resume in person. It goes through like a job source, or you apply online.
Mm-hmm.
The online database uses an algorithm to determine which applicants are potential candidates.
1 sec. Zeus, get back. Come on. Stop. Okay.
So the way it works now is people don't really hand in applications in person anymore. It's all done through a computer, all done online.
You're emailing everything now.
Yes. So when that email application comes in, your resume is attached, and that resume pops up and that application pops up, and it goes through an algorithm using keywords that file applicants versus potential candidates. And then those potential candidates go into this one pile, and then they look at either degree, diploma, all of this, and that filters within the algorithm, right? And then as you filter more, they do it based against like what their pay is versus what the person either is used to averaging or what the person is looking for. And then they filter it to the people who are either asking for or don't put their expected wage, or if their expected wage is lower, that goes automatically to the top if they have the skills. So the highest skilled people with the lowest expected wage go right to the top.
That's fucked up, dude.
Yeah. So, the way they do jobs nowadays is kind of fucked up, but that's been a common theme of our podcast. But I promise as we get going with this and as we work out the kinks and we get some guests on here, we'll open the conversation up a little bit more.
Definitely.
But that being said, as we're opening up a little bit more, Bobby, what do you got planned for this next week?
This next week, I'm heading back to work. I got a couple verses I need to write. And I'm going to try to work on some video content for the single that just dropped right here. It's on all available platforms.
Okay.
August 20th is when it dropped. But yeah, I'm going to try to work on some videography work for that, hopefully here this week. I need to start pushing that shit out, and then promoting the new single, man.
Hell yeah. You got a promo plan for it? You're gonna do some ads, you're gonna do some playlisting.
I'm gonna do some I'm gonna do some ads. I'm gonna do some playlisting. I'm gonna do self promotion, everything. Shameless promotion.
While we're discussing it, what's your view on TikTok marketing?
TikTok marketing.
What's your view on it? Like, do you have a TikTok? Do you use it to market?
I do have a TikTok. I don't use it to market. I don't have enough content on TikTok in order to start thinking about actually marketing, and I don't really use it like that. I need to start because it is one of the newer social platforms.
I was going to ask, do you plan on like eventually branching into marketing there, or you just kind of keep going the way you're going? Like,
yes.
You don't have to market on TikTok. It's just like a question that I...
Yeah, no. I do plan to market on TikTok. It's just a matter of when, really.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, but yeah, no, it's definitely something smart to get into if you are looking for advertising and whatnot.
For sure. I feel that.
What about you? What do you got going on this week?
This week, as soon as we log off this podcast, I'm about to sign those contracts to get those dates with Dax. I'm hoping you can come out for them and hop on those shows.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is in the works.
I am getting ready to close the Raw Hip Hop project. I have a project of just like straight bars and just straight line for line bars, like, because we did the pop punk project. It was fun, and I have a lot more of that content coming too. But I had some shit that I wanted to snap on it, so I think I'm gonna wrap up that just like full project, probably like 9-10 tracks, and vibe with it, sit with it, see if it's something I'm ready to rock with and put out to the public. And I'm just gonna be writing and creating some marketing plans and just trying to continually build this thing brick by brick, you know?
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. I feel that.
Yeah, I think that's a great place for us to wrap. And
yes, a great place to end episode 3 of the Sunday Brunch podcast.
I do think that next week for brunch we will be finally sharing some meals with you guys. I said
yes, food definitely in next week's. I think we worked out enough of the kinks to get food going.
Yeah, we finally got some of the kinks worked out. We got some of the setup figured out. Some big news for the pod that I will not be announcing names of yet, but we do have some really, really cool people that we've worked with in the past that will be hopping on the pod to chop it up with us, talk about some stuff with us.
Chopping it up. Hell yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm definitely excited for that.
If you guys have people that you would like to hear a conversation with, make sure you tag them.
But other than that,
in a comment on either a personal or on the
brunch. We will
Sundaze
catch
Brunch
you next week. And
platforms.
as always,
don't miss
be late for
brunch. Yeah, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.